Hello everybody, this is Max from the Etymos Max YouTube channel. So, it's been quite a long time since the last video, about 5 months. Rest assured, this summer will be filled with content, and this video will be the first of that series of content. As always, I leave links to my resources and sources for this video down in the description, as well as some other cool websites and other links for you to check out, so please check those out down in the description. If you have any comments or feedback, positive or negative, please just leave it down in the description or message me. I'd love to get back to you, and look forward to seeing you more. But yeah, get ready for this new YouTube video.
That's it, Brian?
If you live in North America or another colonized land, then hearing the word new before many of your cities, states, or provinces is probably not that odd. For instance, New York, New Jersey, New South Wales, New England, New Zealand, New Orleans, and New Hampshire, just to name a few. Those place names, or toponyms as they're called, are almost always named after somewhere in the former European colonial empires. The United Kingdom has a lot of these parallels. New England for England, Nova Scotia or New Scotland for Scotland, and New South Wales, Australia for Wales. But there is something missing. Where is New Ireland? At the height of the British Empire, the geographically small European kingdom owned 1/5 of the world's land. Britain owned all of India, Canada, large portions of Africa, and the entire continent of Australia. Britain also owned many islands all over the globe. The global empire worked like a well-oiled machine, each colony and land supporting the other in trade. Cotton and textiles from India and Pakistan, furs from Canada, minerals from Africa, wool from New Zealand sheep, and Australia served as a penal or prison colony for some time. This isn't to say the empire didn't have its issues. It isn't exactly a still existing empire, after all. Just north of Australia and New Zealand was the British colony of Papua New Guinea, on the eastern half of the New Guinea island. The word Guinea is used in many countries' names all over the world, and the word has several meanings. A guinea as currency is worth 1.05 British pounds, or 21 shillings using the older pre-decimal system of currency in Britain. Guinea also is a general and often derogatory term for people who have dark or black skin. The word Papua in Papua New Guinea comes from a Malay word meaning frizzled, in reference to the hair of the natives to the island. The Guinea we are looking at, Papua New Guinea, is divided into 22 provinces, one autonomous region, and the nation's capital district. The northernmost province is an island chain called, you guessed it, New Ireland. It was initially believed to be part of the other modern-day province of New Britain, another new name, but once it was discovered to be separated physically by British explorer Philip Carteret in 1767, he dubbed the land Nova Hibernia, which is Latin for New Ireland. Funnily enough, France attempted to colonize the island 4 times under direction of nobleman Marquis de Rais, which was to no avail. However, in 1886, Germany colonized the island and named it Neu-Mecklenburg, only for it to be later controlled by Australia, and freed, becoming a province to a newly independent nation of Papua New Guinea.
So there you have it. The northernmost province of Papua New Guinea is where New Ireland is today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see... Wait a second. Wait, so you're telling me there's other New Irelands? Well, let's see where they are.
To find the other New Ireland, we need to do, as we will often do on this channel, look to the past.
Let the past die.
No. Let's take a look to the past. In the case of British colonization, it would make sense to have the different colonies, who are named after real locations in the British Isles, for those colonies to be geographically close, like their British counterparts. When the British Empire began colonization of the eastern portion of North America, this pattern began to show up, starting with early colonists proclaiming what would become the northeast region of the USA as New England. Later in 1664, Britain won the Dutch colony of New Netherlands through conquest, annexing it and renaming it to New York. New Amsterdam, which the Dutch purchased from the Native Americans, was renamed York City, or more commonly known as New York City. The Big Apple, currently the second most populated city in North America, second only to Mexico City, Mexico. In New England, near the colony of New York, was New Hampshire and New Jersey, other British colonies. Further north of New England, in present-day Canada, there's the peninsular province known as Nova Scotia. The name of this area can be directly translated from Latin as New Land of the Scots, or simply New Scotland. Nova Scotia was one of many nearby lands and islands that by Royal Charter of Great Britain would be granted to Sir William Alexander in 1632. Now we can say we have most of our North American Britain, with the exception of New Wales or New South Wales, which is in Australia. Nova Scotia are Scotland, New England are England, and last but not least, New Ireland, which, funny enough, happens to be not an island like its fatherland, but stuck in between New England and Nova Scotia. North American New Ireland was not colonized like any of the other British North American colonies. During the American Revolution in 1779, Britain had developed a strategy of conquest and colonization in Maine. The idea was to capture Maine, renaming the land to New Ireland, forcing the defiant colony into submission. The British landed troops and began their invasion by capturing a small port village. Alarmed, the Massachusetts contingency of the Continental Army took up arms, sending General Solomon Lovell and Navy Captain Dudley Saltonstall. The battle, which would become to be known as the Penobscot Disaster, looked like an American victory, but the British stuck it out several weeks before receiving massive reinforcements that pushed back the American defense. The battle was thought to be one of the greatest British victories of the war. However, for the Americans it was by far the greatest naval defeat, unsurpassed until 162 years later when the Japanese attacked the American naval base of Pearl Harbor, which to me is unbelievable. After the Americans and French achieved overall victory in the war over Britain, New Ireland was returned as a free state, regaining its more well-known name, Maine. Colonel Paul Revere was present at the disaster of Penobscot. Yes, the brave British are coming dude who wanted to warn the colonial militia of the British March right before the battles of Lexington and Concord. The American military leaders involved in the battle disagreed on how to execute the right attack. Revere was swept up in this confusion of orders, and on his return to Boston was put on trial with Captain Saltonstall for cowardice and insubordination. In the American education system, we learn about Paul Revere's midnight ride, but we don't learn about what happens next. Saltonstall was found guilty and Revere was acquitted, but forced to resign his post in the Continental Army. Revere sought a full court-martial to clear his name, and in 1783, he was exonerated, clearing his name for the history books, even though this is something we don't necessarily learn about him. Toponymy, or the study of place names, their origin and how they are used, is a fascinating subject because the way humans name places, and all things for that matter, is pretty dang bizarre. Some like to make up new names, yet in the discovery of new lands, people love to name places after what has come before, and Ireland is no exception, not only having one major place named after it, but two. Place names are important to understanding the context, culture, and history of a given location. Toponymy is a subject that I have barely covered despite how fascinating it is. As this channel grows, I will further explore this subject. For now though, it is time for this video to end.
Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.